First and foremost, let's pay homage to the lineage gurus, homage to the Venerable Monk Liao Ming, homage to Master Sakya Zhengkong Dzong Rinpoche, homage to His Holiness the 16th Karmapa, and homage to Master Thupten Tarji. Homage to the three jewels of the altar. And homage to the main deity of Homa today, Mahasri, the Palden Lamo, Lakshmi, Simu, Thupten Siddhi Rinpoche, all Dharma masters, Dharma educators, Dharma teachers, Dharma lecturers, Dharma assistants, directors of temples and chapters, and all disciples present here and over the internet, and our participating VIPs today are the council from Tainan City, Mr. Tsai Wangchen, from Academia Sinica of Taiwan, the academician Professor Zhu Ziyi and Mrs. Zhu, the former Chief Secretary of Taiwan government, Mr. Zheng Pei-Wu and Mrs. Zheng, and the rep to the vice head of the Legislative Yuan, Mr. Cai Qi-chang, and tribute schools, scholar groups, and medical groups. And Dharma brother Wen Xiao from Singapore, and his group of 26 people. General Manager of Jingyi Enterprise, Ms. Zhang. The wood sculptor, Mr. Jian.
My university classmate,
Mr. Zhu Jingsui and Mrs. Zhu. The president of the Lotus Light Charity Society, and also the producers of the Great Perfection Dharma, Lamdre and Sutra Preferred Enlightenment, Master Lian Yun, and the host, Master Lian Hai.
My sister, Lu Shengmei,
Miss Lu Shengmei.
My sister, Lu Guoyin,
Miss Lu Guoyin and her husband and their family. Miss Lu Guoyin and their daughter is also here. She's a stewardess at China Airlines. And thank you to Yuanzheng chapter of Singapore for their donation of 100,000 NT dollars. And a family from Hong Kong, the Tin Tong chapter, Dharma brother Liu Jianfang for their donation $100,000 NT dollars. and my sister Yao also for her donation of 100,000 NT dollars. Today, I would like to make an announcement. On January 13, which is tomorrow, Sunday, at 3 p.m., I will be at this temple, True Buddha School Taiwan Temple, to paint a giant painting, and this would be the 9th giant painting. Someone asked me, what will you paint tomorrow? The 9th giant painting, about 5 to 2 meters big. Frankly speaking, I don't know yet until now. Maybe when I face the canvas, I still wouldn't know what I want to paint. After I pour the ink, I would look at the shape it forms, and then I would think of what to paint. Good afternoon, everyone. How do you do? In Taiwanese. In Cantonese. Cantonese. We have some disciples from Vietnam today too. And they're the ones who translate my books into Vietnamese language. So they translate the Grandmaster's literature into Vietnamese. They're a couple and a group who came together. Camo, that's Vietnamese. That's easy to remember, like gratitude or gratefulness. Camo. That's Vietnamese. Selamat siang for Indonesian, for Malay. Selamat petang, or pentang. That's Indonesian, selamat siang, and Malay, selamat petang. And in Spanish, hola amigo, te quiero mucho. And in Japanese, Master Lien Tsang is here. Domo konnichiwa. はじめてよろしく愛してる行きましょう結婚 Those were all Japanese. For the Americans, good afternoon. Every Saturday afternoon, 3 o'clock in Taiwan Lei Tsang Temple have the fire offering. Yeah. Welcome. So many people coming. Thank you for coming. For people from France. Merci beaucoup. Merci beaucoup. For the Australians, it's the same as Americans. Some English. And what more for the Germans? For the Thai, Sawadika. For the Koreans, Kamsahamnida.
In Taiwan Lei Tsang temple, fire offering and talk Buddhism, because I studied Tibet country. I have the 4 big guru. I studied Tibet country, so have blessing for everybody.
I just said it as I like. So today, I was talking about Simu's health condition last week, and there are many people chanting mantras and dedicating it to her, or performing practices and dedicating the merit to Simu. But actually, I did bless Simu. When her toes curled inward, then I would bless her feet. Then after the blessings, the toes would be extended again and normal, and then she can walk. But only for a period of time, not forever. And her hands, when she cannot move her right hand, then I would bless her right hand. Then immediately she can move her right hand. Or sometimes when she's in low spirit, I can bless her body, and it was helped for a period of time. So I have been blessing her. But this illness came from, it's in the genes. Her father also suffered from the same illness. And Simu said, thank you everybody. And she hoped that you don't need to chant mantras or doing practices and dedicating it to her. She would perform repentances and purifications practices at home by herself. So that's what she asked me to say. And that's about Simu, and about myself, or about Simu and me. I talked about it last week, and that in 1.5 months we would see if the air pollution will be improved or not. If it is improved, then I will continue to stay here. As I said last week, if it has not been improved, then Simu and I will go back to Seattle. In Seattle, in America, the air is so clean, really. And it's really beautiful. There are no industrial chimneys in the whole Seattle area. The air is clear and fresh. In Chinese, like good mountains and good water, but so boring. But in Taiwan, it's dirty and messy, but it's a lot of fun. So I have to choose between the two. But the bad air is really a bad influence. See, now Grandmaster is not wearing a mala beads. Instead, I wear this. This was given by a disciple when I got off the plane at the Taoyuan airport. You know what this is? It was invented by the Japanese. It's an air cleaner. If you wear this, it guarantees that the air I breathe in would be clean. Is there scientific proof to it? It's just a psychological effect, I guess. I don't know. It's hard to say. Someone gave it to me and Simu, so I just wear it. Why the air in Taichung is so bad? Because in Yinlin, Jiayi, Kaohsiung, and Pingtung, several of the cities were bad. But why in Taichung? Very simple. In the whole of Taiwan, there are over 10 nuclear-powered power plants. But the one in Taichung is the biggest one. The biggest coal-generated power plant is the biggest in Taichung. It had a total of 10 chimneys. You know, the coal-generated power plant in Linkou, Kaohsiung, Yunlin, and Jiayi. There are about over 10 coal-generated power plants. And the Taisu company, for each of its branch, they would have one coal-generated power plant, just with one chimney. And at other places, they have either 1, 3, or 5, 6 chimneys. But in Taichung, they have 10 chimneys, and that's the biggest one. And this coal-generated power plant in Taichung was the second biggest in the whole world. The second strongest, powerful one in the whole world. So the second biggest one is in Taichung. So when people take statistics of it, However, the former president, during the former president, they used 70% nuclear generated power plant. And now, the current president employs 70% coal-generated power plant and 30% nuclear power plant. Therefore, the air pollution became really bad, and that was the reason. Why? 2 years ago, there was not such bad air pollution. But last year and this year, or actually this past 2 years, it's been really bad air pollution. So that was the reason. And my suggestion, I suggested to Han Kuo-yi, to Liu Xiuyan of Taichung, that whenever there's a bad air pollution, that the Environmental Protection Agency should fine or give a ticket to the coal-generated power plant. That's my suggestion. Just now, Mr. Han Kuo-yi made a phone call. He's the mayor of Kaohsiung City. And he said that he will be attending the ceremony in Kaohsiung in April. Of course, I hope that Mr. Han Kuo-yi will also come to Taichung to attend our grand ceremony, February 23rd. And he can give a speech to our participants that comes from all over the world, for over 10,000 people, especially the entrepreneurs, and maybe get some supports. In the past, I said that Troubadour School is really poor, is like a group of beggars, but now we are not anymore. We have over 70 temples around the world. And our businessmen and entrepreneurs of Troubadour School can invest in Kaohsiung City as well. We have many entrepreneurs and businessmen are disciples of Troubadour School here and around Asia. So he can come here. So we can also have like Troubadour School entrepreneur or businessman groups discussion. I've said it before, Troubadour disciples come from all over the world, all corners of the world, and they come here to Caotun, Taiwan, to the Troubadour School Taiwan Temple, and many people came here, and therefore the hotels in Caotun are always full, and the taxis and the restaurants, they're all very busy. And therefore the products are sold in Caotun City. Businesses are doing really well, and therefore the town of Caotun becomes very prosperous. Hey, I'm not copying Mr. Han Kuo-yi. He is learning from me. I have said it before, a long time ago. Many people come here to the town of Caotun, and then all the boardings and hotels in this town raise their prices, and they're always full. And they have big businesses. And at night, in the evenings, or for lunch, the restaurants, they're always full. And tomorrow there would also be many people here at the Caotun town. And the businesses are doing really well. All the products are sold out. People coming, products going. And then the town of Caotun became very prosperous. I've said this long ago. One time, we wanted to talk to the Bureau of Travel and how many people have been coming here. And they asked us to list each of the person's name, the ID number, the date, where they came from, and they're very, very minuscule. They're just too troublesome. So just forget it. We know that our ceremony is always attended by thousands of people every time. So today we had the ceremony of Mahasri, and the empowerments would include the Mahasri deity yoga, the wealth practices, the dream yoga. 在哪里？ The Japanese Tantrayana is a great supporter of Mahasri. And in Tibet, too, in Tibetan Tantrayana too, Mahasri is highly revered. Every time before the great living Buddhas are looking for the great living Buddhas, would always go to a lake called Lamolaso. And this is the lake of Mahasri. Mahasri. 那个衣柜 and in the lake it would appear images of like a house, trees, or with the living Buddha will appear in which house, and all the scenes around and about it. So they would always go to this lake Lamolaso, and that's the lake of Mahasri. So the Tibetan Mahasri is different from the Japanese Mahasri. And the Japanese Mahasri is like a goddess. It's very beautiful and feminine. You know, in the beginning, at the beginning of this Mahasri practice, the 12 Mahasri goddesses and their retinues will appear in the sky, dancing. And they would dance for a very long time, including when I formed the mudras and when I enter into samadhi. I still see the 12 Mahasri goddesses and all the goddesses circling, and they are wearing white and red. Circling and dancing. There are a total of 12 Mahasris, and then their retinues, so there would be hundreds and thousands of them. So when you take pictures toward the sky, you would be able to see many prajna lights. So the Tibetan Mahasri is wrathful and ferocious And the Japanese Mahasri is really like a goddess. So do we still have goddesses dancing tomorrow when I'm painting? I know that Yi Ting will be singing. Yes? No dancing. You should find some goddesses to dance. You should try to find someone like Master Lien Yi from Taoyuan. Master Lien Yi. Master Lien Yi, the one with hair, to dance, someone like her to dance. You cannot find someone like her to dance. You should find someone like goddesses to dance. So Mahasri's body is upright, reddish white in color. She wears all kinds of jewelries, and the left hand is holding the wish-fulfilling pole, and the right hand is forming the fearless mudra. She's sitting or standing atop a lotus throne. And the Tibetan Mahasri is riding on a horse and very ferocious. And she has 3 eyes, and her horse also has 3 eyes and 1 eye at the horse's butt. That's why I said Simu is incredible, just like the Tibetan Mahasri. And there's an eye at the horse's butt. And whatever I do behind her, she knows too. So the Tibetan Mahasri is Champo, and she's the best in divination. So Mahasri is the greatest, is a great goddess. So she is Mahasri. Her father is the Dragon King Takshaka and Mother Hariti. So she's the sister of Vaishravana. So one time Sakyamuni Buddha asked Mahasri, "Where do you live? You're so beautiful. Where do you live?" Sakyamuni Buddha inquired. Maybe if there are cell phones at that time, Sakyamuni Buddha would have asked her, "What is your cell phone number? Where do you live?" And Mahasri replied reverently to Sakyamuni Buddha, "I live halfway up Mount Sumeru in the northern area, the palace of Vaishravana. And of the many palaces, there is a palace called the Auspicious Goddess Palace, and that's the place I stay." Mahasri replied. Therefore, Vaishravana, the yellow Jambala, is her brother. And as we know, in the sutra of the epithets of Mahasri. Mahasri has 12 names: propitious, auspicious, lotus flower, stately adornment, having wealth, white, great title, magnificent, brilliance, food bestowing, drink bestowing, precious light, and great auspiciousness. So these 12 epithets represent 12 goddesses of Mahasri. So one of the 8 great Dragon Kings, Dragon King Takshaka and Hariti, give birth to Mahasri, and her brother is Vaishravana, the heavenly king. And she's recorded in many sutras. And the tantric Mahasri can get into battle, can eradicate calamities, and then eliminate bad luck and fight the enemies. She can eradicate all enemies. And the Japanese Mahasri is very gentle and feminine and very likable. So you can visualize either one that you like. I remember I have taught many Dharma practices of Mahasri, and her mantra, and her mudra is the lotus mudra. However, the 2 ring fingers are slightly more inward. The syllable is Sli, the mantra, and the visualization, either the Tibetan Mahasri or Japanese Mahasri, either one. And the one that I just saw earlier was the goddess style, the Japanese Mahasri, and the dancing that they did. They were truly the dance of the goddesses. And today we will continue to expound on Lamdre. About the ending part of the practice is to not let the light drops circulate, at the same time to make the light drops retract and distribute. So retracting, meaning the light drops returning from the secret chakra to its original place. And distribution, meaning the light drops would distribute all over the body. So the light drops not only returning to your brow chakra, the light drops should also disperse and distribute all over the body. So the light drops from your central channel and all your channels to reach all parts of your body. As was written, like the roars of an elephant and a tiger, the cries of a beast and the sniff of a fox, guide and gradually lift from the navel, heart, and throat areas up to the tip of the head. It meant after performing the consort practice, the body sits cross-legged. Visualize the light drops are guided from the secret part toward the navel area and place the mind on the navel. The roar of an elephant means that one hisses sh, sh, to guide and lift, and the mind focuses from the navel toward the heart. The roar of a tiger means that one makes the sound of uhu to guide and lift, and the mind focuses on the heart toward the throat. The cry of a beast means the one makes the sound of ha, ha, to guide and lift, and the mind focuses from the throat toward the apex. The sniff of a fox means that one makes the sound of ha, sh, to guide and lift, and together with the mudra of liberation, one shakes one head to distribute it all over the body. The common practice of the path of the broad teaching and the path of the deep teaching is there are 4 key flaws to the light drops formulas. A flaw in the descent to make the light drops leak. A flaw in holding means the bliss is brief. The flaw in retracting results in loss of water. And a flaw in distribution causing illnesses. The antidotes are 4 kinds. A good technique for descending is to take the turtle steps, and the 4 blisses will be generated. A good technique for holding is 3 changes for the body and 1 change for the mouth. The bodily 3 changes are retracting the anus, fiercely suck on the 2 middle fingers, and the eyes looking upward. The 1 change for the mouth is forcefully say ha, ha. A good technique for retracting is 4 changes for the limbs, i.e. the roar of an elephant, etc. A good technique for distribution is the liberation mudra of a lion. As what were taught in the path of the broad teaching, like using belt and corset to tighten the waist temporarily, will shows the path. I have read this excerpt and it's very lengthy and superfluous. But in summary, you lift the light drops all the way to the brow chakra. And not only that, you need to distribute the light drops to all parts of your body. When we practice the treasure-based energy yoga, when you cannot hold the breath anymore, the most important part is first, you make the chi push against the tip of your head, the crown chakra. And after you completing the treasure-based energy yoga, not only you make the chi to push against the crown chakra, you need to distribute the chi to all parts of your body, all channels and all parts of the channel, all parts of the body. The method I use is with chi. It's different from what's written here, but I can do it that way too. So now you can see that I lift the light drops back to the brow chakra using chi. Of course, it talks about lifting the anus, that you have to lift the anus, and the second point is to forcefully suck on the 2 middle fingers. And third, the eyes looking upward. This is called the sun and moon looking toward the sky. Okay, let me demonstrate it for you. To use the chi to push against the crown chakra or the apex. That was taught by my guru, using the qi, or the vital energy, to lift and push the light drops toward the crown chakra, or the apex. In the past, I was at the Lamdre Lei Tsang temple, and I demonstrated the elephant seat, sitting like an elephant. I did demonstrate it there at the Lamdre Lei Tsang temple. And also the tiger sitting, the sitting posture of a tiger and elephant. So the elephant sitting is like crouching, and the tiger sitting is the body cross-legged and the two fists right in front. That's the tiger sitting. And then I never demonstrated the cry of a beast or the sniff of a fox. And the mudra, use the mudra. And the elephant is shi, the tiger is hu, the beast is ha, and the fox is ha, shi. They're all for lifting. And it said here, if you don't do it right in lifting, say, if when the light drops are descending and you are not good at holding and lifting it, then the light drops will leak. And then if you don't hold it well at the secret chakra, then your bliss will be brief and short. If you can hold it well, then it would be like what Gao Minglu said last week, that he lifted the light drop up and then it would descend again, and it would be lifted up again and descend again, up and down. Then the bliss will last a long time. If you're not good at retracting, then you would have lots of water. So what is this retracting? Is to retract the light drops back up to the top. If you can do it well, then that part would be dry and has no water. But if you don't, then your secret chakra will be wet. The same for the man. It would be wet. And if you're not good in dispersing or distribution, then there would be illnesses. So if you don't disperse your light drops to all parts of your body, then you would suffer from ailments. So you hold the light drops, you need to lift it back to the brow chakra, and then you need to distribute it to all parts of the body. And there would be Vajra exercises too. And I will demonstrate it to you. And this will distribute it to all parts of the body. I will show it to you. Sometimes I would distribute it to the left first, and then to the center, and then to the right, and then to the center. So there's a Vajra exercise for it. And you would know when I chant the mantra, and from where to where you need to say what sound, or to make what sound. So this is the exercise that I often do, where we can say it's a Vajra fist exercise. So now you know. So when you lift your light drops, in order to make the light drops to go to the right or left of the feet, so the light drops would reach to all the chakras and channels and all parts of the body. So if Grandmaster has entered into parinirvana and you want to pick my sariras, at the part where it's at the skull cups, at the skulls, especially at the top parts of your skull, there would be sariras there. And also at the joints, you can also pick some of the sariras, and those are sariras formed by light drops. So when you want to pick sariras, when you are being pulled out, when the cremation ash was being pulled out, first you check the skull. If there are sariras, those were formed when you perform exercise like I just did, then the light drops will be pushed to those places. That was taught by my guru before. However, if you failed, if you cannot distribute, then you would suffer from sicknesses. If you fail in retracting, then there will be lots of water. If you fail in holding, then your bliss is brief. And if you fail in descending, then you would leak. So a good technique for descending is to walk the turtle steps. So that's what Grandmaster does every time, the turtle steps. And then to retract, you tuck in the anus, fiercely suck on the two middle fingers, eyes looking outward, and then you say ha ha. And what is the elephant liberation mudra? Oh, I mean lion, sorry. The liberation mudra of a lion. So now you can see me do this. Actually, the whole body, including the feet and the head, are all trembling. So that's called also the great trembling of the body. The head, the two arms, the two legs, the 2 feet, and the channels and the qi inside the body, they all move and shake and tremble. So this is called dispersion or distribution, to make the light drops reach all parts of the body. So the Vajra exercise that I just showed you, this is just a few postures, right? Not that many. And sometimes it's like this. Just a few stances, right? And then you connect them together, and that's called the Vajra exercises. So now you know how to do it, right? Now you've learned it. That's 3 bodily changes. A good technique for retracting, for distribution, is the liberation mudra of a lion. At the Lamdre Lei Tsang temple, I have done the sitting posture of an elephant, of a lion, and a goddess. So for the elephant, you crouch, and then also of the turtle, you crawl like a turtle, and the lion is sitting. And also the mudra of a big fish. So like the steps that I make, it's also called the turtle steps. So when I use the incense sticks to bless the altars and the Great Compassion Holy Water, the steps that I perform is called the steps of the turtle or the fish. And then the techniques using belt or corset, will also show the path. Now we have a new term now. It's like a drifter, like a drifter to the north or to the south, so north drifters, south drifters, or if you go to America, it's American drifters, or to to Arabs, there would be Arab drifters, or in Chinese it's called like ghost. So you cannot see qi, but you can make it ascend, descend, hold it, and distribute it. And light drops is concrete, it's a kind of liquid. And practitioners should not leak the light drops. So they should drift all over the body, and to return to its original place, the brow chakra and the crown chakra. At the MRT, there was a middle-aged man inadvertently touched a pregnant woman, and the pregnant woman said, can you be responsible if the baby fell? And the man couldn't stand the reprimand and said, okay, if you lose your baby, then I will make babies with you. Of course, because they are not spiritual cultivators. Because for the spiritual practitioner, it would be they will not bear any more children. Once your spiritual cultivation reach a realm where you're not leaking, then you will not bear children anymore. Unless you really want the baby, then you can do it intentionally and make it leak. Otherwise, it's very simple. If one day Grandmaster has entered into parinirvana and there was a lady going to see Simu and said, hey, this baby is Grandmaster's. You know, let me tell you, you have to check the DNA, and it's for sure not mine. Like from Los Angeles, California, Miss Jenny Lee, she went to Seattle, and in front of everybody, cried loudly and said, hey, Grandmaster, I have a baby. And I replied, are you trying to scare me? It's definitely not mine. Of course, it's the baby she had with her husband. She just got married and she wanted a baby, and she got it, so she cried loudly to tell me. But it's definitely not mine. Someone went into a garden and saw a note, lover, and he thought, oh, this is very interesting, and so he pushed the gate and ran in. And then she got, and then he finally got into the hospital and got a tetanus against mad dog. And then it turned out the character was read wrongly. Instead of lover in Chinese, actually it's like, do not enter dogs inside. So therefore, as spiritual cultivators, we should be very calm. And just the hearts and mind are wide open, very calm and constant and stable. And we should be conscientious in whatever we do. You should be careful and mindful. Your eyes should be careful and mindful. You shouldn't be so haphazard and careless. And the heart and the mind should be calm and wide open. An auntie was very dizzy, and she was told that she has to eat lots of food with iron, but she thought it's like she has to eat the train food. Misunderstanding. So please let me tell you, please don't misunderstand. In Chinese, it's a homophone. It sounded the same in Chinese.
你坐高铁的时候吃2个便当，所以我们在听法也要注意，听法也要注意。
So in listening to Dharma teaching, we should also be attentive and careful. Please don't make mistakes. I already explained it carefully in details, but if you still mistake it, then what can I do? This Dharma gate is the non-leaking practice, and afterwards you need to lift the light drops to the crown, and then you need to make the light drops disperse to all over the body. And how to do it is like what I just showed you earlier. In order to make it distribute all over the part, you need to shook and tremble your whole body. And you can use the Vajra exercise to help it, to disperse it to the right, to the left. Or, according to what I just said, you can chant the mantra. So, Sisi or Uhu or Haha or Hashka or Hashi. So any of this would do. And sometimes I teach people to lift the qi using ha, ha, to lift it with one breath, ha. And for the descent, you say ka, and to lift ha, and to descend ka. That's also a mantra. That's all for today. Om Mani Padme Hum.